Good evening, listeners. This is John Carew. It's the 26th of September 2025, and we're here in the Heritage Centre in Lough Gur, overlooking the Enchanted Lake. I'm here with two lovely ladies, Áine Barry and Bernadette Whelan, and we're going to chat maybe about the Lough Gur Drama Society, and we'll see where we'll go from there. So maybe I'll start with you, Áine, if you don't mind. Yeah, you might give us a brief history of the Drama Society, who began, who were the founder members and things like that.
I'm not sure I have a definitive list of the founding members, John, but I suppose I think where it started was Maureen Cregan. I can't remember her maiden name actually, but when she married Austin, she moved to Holy Cross, Gallagher. She was from West Clare, and there was a real history of drama down along there. So Maureen married Austin, and they wanted to get involved in the Mockra, I think, Bernadette, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
In
started out with Mockra,
Mockra, yeah, 1950s?
No, it'd be later, I'd say it'd be late 60s.
Late 60s.
Mid to late 60s, yeah.
But that was a real, a success, I suppose. And from that then they decided to set up the Amateur Dramatic Society. And my father, Michael Quinlan, was very involved in that. Tom McNamara, I would say, and Maureen. They were kind of the three.
Yeah, they started off with the pageant in 1972, and I think it came out of that.
Okay.
They decided to form Lough Gur Amateur Dramatic Society. They called it LEDS at the time, and that name stuck for a long time, actually. So then they all got together and joined the drama group.
Yeah, but I think, do you have to talk about that pageant? Because that pageant was, that pageant was amazing. Yeah. So Dad wrote the pageant, and like I remember him telling me that it was set around Goward Irla and the folklore and the history around the lake. But there was a tent, I think, Barrett's time was that what was formed? Big marquee, excuse me, marquee. But I remember they were getting costumes because there was medieval costumes involved as well. And he told me he went over to Limerick Junction. The costumes were coming down from Dublin by train, and they collected the costumes to come over here. Like, it must have cost a fortune to put on. Like, it must have had like.
Costumes were fabulous.
They really were, and even if you look at some of the photographs above in the Honey Fits, and you see those costumes, like, but it was all around Goward Irla, and I suppose, Billy Leo was Goward, was he?
I think he was Goward Irla, and the whole all about the lake, or the horse, on the lake, and they did kind of Bunratty Castle style thing as well, didn't they? They did. I'm a bit young now, if I don't remember. I don't remember much about it.
You were in it.
No, Hilary was in it. I wasn't in it. My sister Hilary was in that. Yeah. But no, I wasn't in it at all. No, I would have been 12 or 13 at the time, so I wouldn't have been part of that whole scene.
6 at the time.
You were about two.
Way too young for that down there. But the pageant was amazing, and I think it really, and I think they did a second year of pageant as well. They did, yeah.
Because would you believe it, your father had me as Brian Baru.
There you go.
Yeah, and he had me kneeling up in something. That's all I can remember of it. Yeah. And was it Jordanian came in and cut my head off? So that was then the poor Brian Baru.
I remember there was part of it. It must have been the second year. Was put on in the castle, in Boucher's Castle. Yes. And as a child, I have this recollection of, like, I don't know, I was 6 or 7 at the time, but there was a big hole in the floor, and like when you think about health and safety, we were told we were going to do Irish dance, and we were told stay away from the hole. That was it. There was no cordoning off. There was nothing like that. There was no health and safety. There was no high-vis jackets. There was nothing. It just was such a community thing. Like, everybody came together, pulled their weight in the whole lot.
And I think they put the marquee up against the right outside the castle. Would that be right? Or
I can't remember that, John. No.
John,
again, you're older than I am. You might remember that. This conversation is going to be all about age. I know. But out of that then came the drama group, I suppose. So you're right, but probably about 1972 or so. Yeah. And I think as well, it might have come as well from. So Dad was the principal in the primary school, and every year we used to put on the plays. Yeah. So he'd seen the kids coming up, like, and I think he kind of saw it as another way to kind of keep the children involved, in the community and the whole lot. But the play, like, we've done so many plays, like, I mean, I couldn't even begin to tell you. And we always would have done a minimum of one a year. And then earlier on, we say, I'm talking back in the maybe 2000s. For the Storytelling Festival, there was always a plays in around October as well. So the 3-act play would have been done in kind of February, and then the one act plays would have been done around about October. And then there was a bit of a drop, a bit of a hiatus. And then when Bernadette took over as chairperson of the drama group,
I'm
yes,
only there for a
Bernadette,
couple of
you
years.
reignited it again.
He was well recognized forever I came on the scene, because Maureen and your father produced a huge amount of plays. Father Fennelly did, John McGrath. There was a lot of other people producing plays, and it all happened, we'll say, from the time of, we'll say, that pageant, and then they went on and did Sive and The Field. And I remember Sive seeing it in school in Bruff in 1975, I think. And that was with James Dooley and Deborah Conway. That one, and that was an amazing production. Maureen produced that. And then went on to The Field.
Which was a wonderful production.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
James Dooley again played the part of the Bull McHale.
No, that's only the recent one.
Oh,
This
okay,
is the
sorry.
Tom
I'm
Mack.
too young to remember the
You're
first
going
one.
back further now. Tom Mack played the part of the bull in the first Field. And that was the early 1970s. The famous Piggy and Mike, what was that?
Oh, Playboy the Western World.
Play by the Western World. That was about 1975 or 6, I think. So that then it kind of, into the 80s, it kind of, I think it might have kind of waned a little bit. But then they got it going again. I think Michael produced a huge amount of plays. And then, because I'm trying to do up a thing to put stuff on a website, and there was some years that there was 3 plays put on.
Okay.
You know, so there was a lot of stuff going on. But then it kind of waned again. And John McGrath, I remember distinctly my cousin Francis, taking me down to the Honeyfits one night for a meeting. John McGrath was there and he was going to put on some plays. And next of all, I was in a play that I had no intention of being in. But he got...
go to these meetings?
Oh, God almighty. So anyway, he did Dancing at Lunas in 1994, which was all out-and-out success. It was
That was
fantastic.
the one with Margie Kenny and Marie Sheehy.
Eleanor, Margie Nadel.
Margie Nagel, Sailing Casey was in it.
Sailing Casey was in it. Declan Hare was in it.
Declan Hare,
Was
Declan the priest?
No, Declan was the narrator.
And who was the priest then?
Sean Mack in Bruff.
Oh, yeah. And that was amazing.
Oh my
success.
God, it was a fantastic production. That went on for a couple of weeks.
But that one stayed in the Honeyfit. That never travelled, did it? No.
They used to travel. I never travelled with the plays in Lough Gur ever.
Yeah.
They always stayed in the...
Which is a pity, because anyone listening now to us that have, partaked in amateur dramatics will know the amount of work that goes into it. And just to have 3 nights or maybe 6 nights and then it's all finished, it's such a pity, isn't it?
Amount of work to take a play on the road,
I think that's the commitment as well, John. It's, do you know what I mean?
Everybody just working people, aren't they? Everybody works, so it's hard to be.
Get their own lives going on, as well. It's very different now. And I suppose when you think about, some of the people that went through, and there were so many. If you were trying to put names on everybody who ever acted on the stage, you're probably into the hundreds. Wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
And I remember
at the very beginning. Even I was looking at there tonight before I came out. All the Sheehans started out, and Sheehan acted as well into the 90s, and John did. But we'll say David and a load of other people, Biddy Conway, Biddy Hayes, we'll say, loads of people that that don't act in the stage anymore. They did it in the very early stages, but they started rearing children and having families, I know. So it takes that time.
Then Áine touched on it there a few years ago, and it was revived, the 3 one-act plays. And the idea of that was to get new blood in and even bring back some of the older talent. And I think that has been a great success. We've got some wonderful actors and actresses out of it. I hope you don't mind me mentioning one, but Barbara Sadler.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Top class.
Very good.
Ashley Moore, another one.
Yes.
I know,
Lovely girls. And even that little girl, Cy Feely, who was,
Which we had last year.
Joanne
she
Hayes.
was really
There's so
good.
many of them that are coming out of it.
Wonderful. Clive used to come up for, and this is what a drama group can do for people. Sive would come up, she was only going to national school, and she'd come in for practice from a football match or something. And then she turned up on the day of the play, and she like a young woman.
Yeah, I know.
12 or 13 or something like that. Yeah, fantastic. And
there was no directing in her. She was actually leading what she should do.
But I do think that, if I go back to the plays in the primary school, the confidence that gives kids to get up on stage and to be able to project your voice. And, you know, I know it's maybe putting on a persona, you know, that maybe that isn't who you are, but like, I just think it's such a gift to give a child to be able to do that. And so many of us, but that's it, it's the confidence.
You know, that's what young people need, isn't it?
And as well as that, even those people that acted as children, they mightn't necessarily be on the stage now, but they all come to the plays. Every one of them, they all come, you know, all the time.
So we've got, you know, we've got to talk as well about not just the actors, but the backstage crew. You know, like Colin Bulfin, like,
I know,
you know, Tom Lynch, Bobby Ryan, Robert Ryan as well. You know, all those people who they are responsible for putting the stage on, because you wouldn't be able to get it. You know, all the people who did lighting down through the years, Popeye, you know, Tyke Deneen, you know, Aoife Lynch, the whole lot of them, like, there's so many of them. And then Padraig Mulcahy, you know, so many of them. And then all the people front of house, you know, who don't want to get up on stage and act, but they want to be
involved.
They want to be involved, they want to be a part of it. And I think that's amazing.
Leave out Morella, because
No, oh God,
she needs a whole chapter in her own. If that's what you have. But she's
just for, let people know, Morella is actually Maureen Cregan's daughter. And she now is our main producer.
And she has produced some amazing plays, hasn't she, over the years?
Like Morella, when she produces a play, like, she always produces the 3-act plays, but she really commits. She gives about, I would say, about 6 months. You know, does she, from the time
110%.
from the, like, choosing the play in the first place, you know, then trying to cast it, then, you know, deciding on the setup. I mean, the play we did last time, which was phenomenal, you know, Hugh Leonard's play, and how she was able to design the set and all of that. And then herself and PJ, her husband, coming over there, you know, building the set, basically. I mean, she's just amazing.
She'd be overpainting the set when we were at home watching TV. But I hope she won't mind me telling this story. With this time of the snow, there was very heavy snow, and the play was going on the Friday or Saturday night. So she was afraid that there would be no parking, you know, that the snow would be all over the place. So she came over. She drove around the car park about 1 million times to try and get the
Compact snow, like,
or whatever, to make it safe for people to park. So she did that.
Morella is
Unbelievable,
She's just out on her own, like, I suppose, you know, in the Honey Fits we have the photograph of the three, the three founding members, we call them founding members, you know, Maureen Cregan, my father, and Tom Mack. Morella would have one on her own, like, she's just phenomenal, like, what she has achieved, you know, and what she does for us, you know.
Of course, I think President Higgins, who is retiring now, said that culture keeps our community together. And I think the Lough Gur Amateur Dramatic Society has played a huge part in keeping the Lough Gur community.
And it's even getting stronger and stronger, isn't it? Áine, really, you know.
And to be fair, you've got to take some kudos for that too. You know, but you're an exceptional chairperson, and you know, in that you're managing to, I suppose, you know, reunite it, bring everything back together again. And even the fact of, as I say, those 3 one-act plays is, you know, it's just a feather in your cap, Bernadette. So just take that.
Okay,
take that, you know. And we're very lucky, I suppose, in that, like, the actors and the people backstage, and they don't just come from the immediate core Lough Gur area. It's a wider catchment area, you know.
brought somebody from Ballineasy, didn't you, for the last
I know,
play,
for this play coming, like, but, you know, you take Brian Sheehan now, you know, back from Mianis, you take, you know, how many people came from Lough Gur that were involved in it, down through the years even, like, you know. Like, I remember Donnacha Cleary was involved, you know, from Lough Gur, in Herbertstown, you know, and, you know, it's fantastic. And, you know, back to John now and back to the theatre and the tent and hospital, like, you know, to see the different, you know, like Emily and, you know, the other areas that have plays, but, okay, Áine, put it up there. They may not be as strong as we are. Maybe it's because we've there for so long, John, but, you know, I mean, that's something we need to be, you know.
The guests I had on Sunday were absolutely...
Yeah, and it's great that we see 3 more producers
coming through
every year and getting better at it every year, so that, you know, when the time comes, they'll be doing their 3 acts or whatever, you know.
Because the thing is, we were relying very heavily on Morella to do the plays.
I suppose it is a bit unfair.
It's a huge commitment.
It is a huge commitment.
So it's great now that we've got as I said, you know, John and Eleanor and Siobhan and Deborah and Paddy, of course, Paddy Leo, and Marcella Byrne now is helping Eleanor in her play as well. So that's 6 producers essentially, and Morella, which is 7. Like it's just
fantastic.
And it
It's
is a
brilliant.
learning curve,
Of course it is.
you know. What I've learnt in a very short while, and of course I'm lucky to have Paddy along with me, and you know, and even on Sunday, the lady Nuala, sorry now I can't remember her second name, the judge, it was one thing that she pointed out, the production was huge, and even down to the little details where when the dinner was given to the old woman in the bed, we had potatoes and veg cooked inside in it. You know, we didn't just leave it, just put a plate up and leave it.
And I suppose that's the thing really, that I think we are being recognised. I was going to say globally, that's not right. Regionally, is probably the word. You know, that, you know, people come to Lough Gur because they know they're going to get, you know, a really good standard of play, a really good standard of production, a great night's entertainment, and it's good value, like.
It's fantastic value. Sure.
And you know, actually, you know, go back to your point, sorry, John, go back to your point about, you know, Michael D saying, you know, culture keeps communities together and that. You see families coming to the plays and they go home then and they're talking about the play, whereas if they're sitting there watching something on television, there could be somebody else on an iPhone or something. Do you know what I mean? It's not the same thing.
They're all on
it's
different,
brilliant.
screens,
And then the lovely thing, and I don't know about you girls, but I love to go to a play when I know people in it. And that really is the great. And I remember, we'll go back to the Bull McCabe again and Seamus Dooley.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
That was amazing. And I remember Seamus Dooley sitting in his van outside Nagel's shop in Bruff the week after, one of the days afterwards, and there was a queue of people waiting to go and talk to him.
And actually going back to the field and the Bull McCabe and that, Kevin Doody, God rest him, was the bishop. And, you know, did he give absolution or something? I can't remember what he did as part of it. But everybody,
You're right.
Everybody in the audience blessed themselves because he gave such a compelling
We were all
performance.
there with him, like,
I blessed myself.
You weren't the only one, John, but the whole audience did it.
And even when Seamus Dooley at one point, when he put his hand on Padraig Mulcahy's shoulder, you know, Padraig was the child, and everybody went, because he was really... he was very kind of, he was just
aggressive. Aggressive is probably the wrong word, like, but he was.
No, he
He
wasn't
character.
aggressive, but he was very...
He was the character. He was the Bull McCabe, like.
He was, he sure was.
And you know, Áine, we've spoken a lot now about the drama and things, but of course, your father, Michael Quinlan, and of course, being one of the founder members, but he did so much more for Lough Gur. And I know he came in 1959 as a teacher here, and of course you were reared above in Knockany, and he had some lovely stories. And can you tell us the one about how you got your beauty on May morning?
Oh, no, well, I wouldn't say that was a story now, but I mean, like, he was very big into mythology and all that sort of stuff. So the story is that on May morning, you have to get up early in the morning and you have to go out and wash your face in the May dew, and then you'll be beautiful. And obviously it worked. Obviously it worked. No, sorry, Barry, it's gone past. Too late. Your ship has sailed, Bernadette. It's not working for you at all. But, you know, I suppose, like, that era, that generation, sorry, I suppose what I said, they would have grown up with pishogues and, you know, all the stories from the older folk, because they would all have been told to them down through the years. And I also think probably been part of a big family. That, you know, that my grandmother was, and Dad lived, you know, in hospital for many years, that those stories were passed on and on and on, and then he just kind of kept them going, you know, here and that.
And that's great, because we don't want to lose them. It's part of our culture again. So and then
they're in the book, John. They're in the book that we wrote. So before Dad died, we wrote a book, This is Lough Gur, just to kind of, I suppose, capture all his knowledge and that, things, you know, so, and we made sure that we divided into the history, the folklore, and then the songs and the poetry that were there. So, and it's for sale in the Heritage Centre. Just get the plug in.
At a good price.
Well, it is at a good price, and all proceeds go back to Lough Gur Development. So, yeah.
And of course, then can I ask you, what was it like as a child going to school and your father the teacher? Or
I suppose it was all I knew, John. I remember there were 7 of us in the family, and we all started school at about 3 years of age. Whether it was to try and bolster the numbers, or whether my mother just needed peace to get us out of the way. But I do remember skipping around the yard in school and saying, "Dead, dead, dead." And I was told that if I stopped calling him dead, he was the master or he was sir. I just couldn't get my head around that. But I think it took a couple of slaps with the drumstick in my hand before I remembered how to call him that. But like any of the past pupils, any of Dad's past pupils would say that it was an amazing experience going to school. And yes, I absolutely remember that, like, because it wasn't just about academia, it was about developing the whole child, which is where, nowadays that's what they're gone back to.
Yeah.
But like, we were a small school, I suppose there was probably maybe about 40 in the school, from the whole school when I was there. I remember, going outside in the sunny days and we'd do our lessons outside. He would read newspapers to us, so you'd know what was going on in the world. And then we'd have this discussion. This would happen when we were in 5th and 6th class. You'd know what was going on in the world. Every morning he would read. Some of the books that I really remember are The Farm by Lough Gur, of course, The Flight of the Doves, and I Am David. These were these 3 books that he would read, a chapter or 2 every day. And then because everybody was involved in it. So it was a bit like, I suppose, doing honours English, in secondary school. But we did it at a very early stage. And then obviously we had the nature walks. We'd walk to Colonel O'Grady's, the monkey puzzle tree, I'll never forget it. And we learnt about, and to be fair, no, it wasn't just Ed, like Mrs. Moore, we had to bring in the flowers and the trees and the twigs every Monday morning. And like, I know trees that, some of my colleagues of my own age wouldn't know, and they wouldn't know the flowers and that. So it was a real all-rounded education, and then I suppose, again, going back to the plays, the little concerts at Christmas, again, put you on stage, and like, you just felt fabulous. You felt you were like, I don't know, Angelina Jolie or someone like that up there on stage. Like, it was just amazing. It was just brilliant.
Because I used to often consult your father on something I'd be writing, and he'd say, "Oh, you can't say that, John." And I'd say, "Oh, right. But what about artistic freedom?" "Oh, yes," he'd say, "yes. But you still can't say that." So, he was a great man. And
he was definitely a man of principle, but he didn't hold back. He told you. He told what it is, which probably wasn't the bad thing either, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah. And to be fair, like, I mean, he was known as Mr. Lough Gur, and there was a reason for that, because he really,
he brought it on.
He absolutely did, brought it to where it is, and,
And so many other things too, like the choir.
Yeah.
And the Historical Society, so many organisations that he would have either started himself or were very much involved in starting them. Yeah.
No, look, it is. I mean, he definitely left his mark, and I suppose that was always his thing, and it's on his gravestone: do not go through life without leaving worthy evidence of your passage. And I think that's something that kind of we should all live by. Like, we're here not for a long time. We're here but we should be leaving a mark behind us, get involved in communities, and that's
The 2 ladies in front of me are definitely doing that.
As are you, John.
I don't know. And of course, Bernadette, you had a very interesting childhood as well.
I suppose it was interesting. Yeah, she grew up in a pub and shop, and great parents, and had a very good childhood there, living there. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
And your father came, was it in 1940 or 45?
In the 40s. He was running a mill in Clare someplace. I was trying to find out about it, but I couldn't find out anything about that. But he bought the pub, and I think he got help from his brothers, 2 brothers, 3 brothers, I think, but 2 of them helped him out with the buying of the pub. I think it cost about £2,500 at the time.
Which was a lot of money.
Which was a huge amount of money back in the 40s. So he bought that off the Gavins, as far as I know. But I can't find...
Were they 2 sisters?
2 sisters, yeah. But I've often tried to... Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I can't find anything out about them, to be quite... I've looked it up, but there's very little there about them. So then he had the pub, and there was a little shop where the lounge is now. That was the shop. Do you remember that?
No,
that was... the shop was there, and there was, there was the bar, and then there was where the inside place was our kitchen, which was also a kind of a little lounge where people who didn't want to be seen in the pub came in for their drink, kind of like a snug, but a bigger snug. So anyway, then he went looking for somebody to help run it with him. So he went off to Rare Cross and found my mother, who was working there in Kennedy's in Rare Cross from Upper Church. And then she came back. They married in 1949.
Brought her back in a horse and cart.
Pony and Trap.
Pony and trap, sorry.
And but I remember that because my mother remembered it very well. His brother Simon and his wife came to collect her, and his wife was Babs, and she was kind of a bit posh.
Okay.
And she had a fur coat, and my mother always remembers the fur coat on the Pony and Trap. Yeah. So anyway, they came and collected her, and so they got married in 1949, and then she brought her sister, I don't know which came first, Nancy or Chrissy, but Nancy came from Upper Church in County Tipperary, and she met Ber Donovan. I left us Francis all about that story. And they met and fell in love and got married. And then another sister came from Upper Church, and she met John O'Brien, who was working there in the forge from Kilteely, and they got married and they went off to England and started a family.
And the forge was at the back of the shop, at the back of the pub.
Yeah, right outside the back door, we'll say there was a big yard, and the forge was over the other side. I don't remember an awful lot about it, to be quite honest. Only there was a big kind of a place to put the horse on to weigh the horse or something. I don't know, I could be all wrong there now, but there was, John O'Brien used to do the shoeing of the horses there back in the day.
But your mother was an amazing woman.
Oh, she was.
Oh my God, the work that and I worked in Reardon's for a while, and by God, did I work in Reardon's. I remember one time, like, you were to be working constantly. I remember one time I was sitting there and I must have been reading a book or something, and she walked out and she got me. And she said, you know, what are you doing? I said, but there's no customers in here. And she said, take down those bottles and clean them. And I said, but I did it yesterday. Take them down and do it again. You had to be busy all the time, like, you know. Oh my God, she talk about training you, like how to work. She gave a really strong work ethic to anybody who worked there.
And even because my uncle passed away in Upper Church last weekend. So he was the last of the line of 14 of them, right? Okay. And at the funeral, we'd heard it before, he was put on a train at the age of 13 to Dublin to train to be, he was taken in by a family who owned a pub. Okay. So he did his time, served his time in the pub. And there was no secondary school. Yeah. And my mother, as far as I know, none of them went to secondary school. So I don't know what age she was when she went to Rare Cross. Yeah. And what time, I don't know what age. Yeah. But I could remember her doing the ledger at home, doing all the calculators, there was no such thing. But she was able to go all the way down on big long lines of columns of numbers and just tot them all up. She had a great brain, you know.
But when you think about it now, you know, if she was coming out now, she would be a CEO of a company, Do you know what I mean? No, but do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I often think that about some of the women, they are so intelligent and the brains that they have, and then couple that with the work ethic, and my God, there's no stopping.
Couple that as well, Áine, with Rearing a big family.
I know, yeah, absolutely.
You know, she just didn't run a pub and a business. She reared a big family as well.
There was only 3 of us.
There
were 7 of them, there were 3 of us.
But it's still a family,
Oh my God, and it was tough going,
Yeah, it was tough. And especially back in the 50s, it must have been very hard.
And your father was still carpenter, plumbing?
He was a plumber. Yeah, so he was out every day working. You know, he never went behind the bar, I don't think. She ran all that. She did. Yeah, so he was
working. Been behind the bar from a young age, or?
You'd always be behind. You'd be either in the shop or the bar. You'd be in one of the two of them anyway.
So you would have met all the great characters that would have come in.
God
and
almighty.
Yeah.
How long have we got? Characters.
The two that I remember from my time anyway were Mossy Quinn and Jimmy Higgins.
Oh yeah. Morris Quinn. Morris Quinn, Jimmy Higgins. I know.
Every single day, every day. Morris was from Kilshama in County Mayo. And I remember he'd have his drink, and there was a whiskey or just Powers or something like that he'd drink, and then he'd get kind of romantic, and he'd start telling me then about the book The Language of Flowers, and he'd be reciting this poetry to me. I mean, it was lovely the first 2 or 3 times I heard it. The more times I heard it, I was thinking,
keep listening.
You have to keep listening. Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, there were some great characters.
Jackie
Daly, and and Ed Enright playing the cards. There was a table in the bar part up by the fire, and they used to bang down, when they'd be playing cards, 45, and they'd be jinking and everything, and they'd be banging down, and there was a big bow in the table from, because of all, I think my father had to put a support underneath.
Yeah.
So the cards went on every Sunday morning without fail, and there used to be a Christmas, for the turkeys,
that's right.
playing the 45 drives and everything like that, all that kind of stuff. It was never a musical pub, so it wasn't really. They never brought in music,
No.
really. Except one time they did bring in music one time, and I remember being quite young behind the bar, too young to be there really. And do you remember that song by the Dubliners, 12 Drunken Nights?
Oh, yeah.
Or 7 Drunken Nights, actually, sorry. But then they couldn't say the last drunken night because I was there. So I never heard the last night for years.
And
That's
then
the-
during the festival, during the pageants and that,
Yeah.
there was another marquee out.
They had a couple of,
Yeah.
They had Bill Hanley there one time. Or what's his name? The singer, is it Bill Hanley? Not Bill Hanley. Mick Hanley, that's the guy, yeah. I mean, they had a couple of good people there, acts there, in that marquee at the back, yeah.
But even in the 70s, I have a vague recollection of some of the show bands coming there.
To that marquee?
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly,
Part of one of the festivals. And I don't know, maybe now I've seen it on a brochure or flyer, one of the
Yeah.
older flyers or something like that, I can't remember. But like there was so much stuff going on down there, like.
Oh, there was.
And
It
then
was the hub.
next door to Holy Cross Soccer Club, and they were all coming in then,
Exactly,
and
yeah. And there used to be the Grange crowd used to come up from Grange, and they used to be, everybody. That's how you met people as well. There was all sorts of people coming in there. It was fantastic. Somebody was asking me there recently about the Countess Alice. Do you remember?
Countess
Yeah.
Alice,
There was no place to stay in Holy Cross. There was no guest houses or B&Bs, and we had a room. So John Alice stayed with us, and I was going to primary school, and he brought me down to the castle and everything one day and took me up to the top of the castle. I mean, you wouldn't obviously be able to do that now. Health and safety would not, But he was only about 19 or 20 at the time, and he went off and he married a countess, and that was the last we saw Countess Alice.
And were you broken-hearted?
I was broken-hearted, but he gave me a book. I have a book at home, The Wind and the Willows. He gave me for a birthday one time. I think it was
Signed
10.
and all.
Do you know he never signed it?
That's a
He said to Bernadette, "Happy birthday," but never said John Alice, whatever his name
So
was.
we only have your word that was.
That's all.
because,
Yeah.
Well, we believe you.
Yeah.
But I remember what's his name, Ted Hughes, the British Poet Laureate. He was very friendly. Well, I don't say he was very friendly. That's not fair. He came to Lough Gur 2 or 3 times with Barry. I can't remember Barry's second name.
He was Barry Cook, was it?
Barry Cook. Yeah, Barry Cook. And like I know Dad took him down to Reardon's, plenty of times, and he gave Dad a book. Dad gave it to me, signed by Ted Hughes. So
And he was the last man to sail a Cork. Geez, the word won't come to me now. Not a round boat. Coracle.
Coracle, yeah.
Yeah, on the lake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be too many coracles around, John.
No, but he did,
They
yeah.
their own boats, like.
Yeah. So that was amazing. It must have been amazing to see that.
Yeah.
As you're going right back to Stone Age times then.
Absolutely. And then, don't forget John Kenny, of course, the nights in Reardon's, and the music. Oh my God, he could make that guitar sing.
That kind of music would be there, all right.
Yeah. Sing songs.
I do remember Tom Mack and we were all, as youngsters, we were all friendly with the older generation.
Yeah.
And we'd go in there, we'd meet them on a Friday or Saturday night. We used to have a great time with them. They were, like Tom Mack was a fantastic man as well, wasn't he?
And to hear him tell the stories, and the turn of phrase he had. I mean, I know that there was one line he was telling the story of Sean O'Hay and the, going playing the music under the lake, but he came back and he told Judy, his wife, and a suspicious little woman she was. I just think that line I have never forgotten. A suspicious little woman.
story.
Yeah, it is. But it's just great to hear it in his
do that
vernacular.
now when I have children entertained, and what I do is I make the carriage
Okay, very
and the
good.
horses, and they love it because it involves them and it's great fun. So it is,
You have to be involved. I think that's the thing. Like I'm just thinking about that being an audience member in the drama group versus being on stage. But actually, when you're in the audience, you are involved. I go back again to the blessing yourself. You are involved in it. That's
And that's what that's what gets a great play.
Oh, it's 100%.
you know, when the people are involved and they're involved in the, you know, in the characters. So, girls, thank you very much for coming and chatting with us. It's lovely to hear all the stories, and hopefully Lough Gur Drama Society will go on for years and years to come.
I think
we've
laid the foundations.
Definitely,
No, we're laid.
Yeah, the foundations were laid. We're keeping going.
Yeah.
We're laying rows of blocks.
That's all we can do. Keep it going. We'll eventually have it built, John.
Okay, thank you very much, girls.
Thanks, John.
Pleasant.
Lovely. Just before you do, I don't know if I picked it up wrong, but did you mention the school? Do they put on plays themselves, or is it that they involve children? You involve children in the group?
No, the school put them on to do.
Oh, right, that's very.
There'll be a Christmas pageant,
Christmas
play.
Yeah.
Do you want to just give that a mention? I know you kind of referenced it there, but I wasn't sure. Do you want to just I don't know? It sounded. Were you saying I don't know? Maybe I picked it up or I'm reading into it too much, but is it kind of a first step almost in getting involved in drama in the area?
For some people it probably was, because the likes of Anthony Kirby and Dermot, would have started in the school. John, you would have started in the school. I'd have started in the school. So, I mean, really what I was saying there was that, my father, as the principal of the primary school, put on these Christmas concerts every year, and gave every child in the school had a part to play, and was front and centre on the stage. They weren't backstage. Every child had a part to play in it. And I suppose when I look at some of the actors who are there now, they came through those ranks. As I say, the two Kirbys would have come through there. Deborah probably didn't go to school in Lough Gur. No, she didn't. Seamus Dooley was taught by my father.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I know I was myself, Mary, Mary, all the Hazes, Maliki, Martin Carew, they were all up there on stage. They all went through. Even if you go back down to the younger age group, we say like Jean Tierney, Caoimhe Lynch, they were all going through those concerts like that. And I just think that again gave the foundation for a lot of those. Aoife Lynch, there's so many of them, John, you could keep going like.
Excellent as well last Sunday.
Yeah.
Even though she didn't come on stage, she was very, very good.
Again, part of it, but I think that's where it starts from, because most children, when they're young, like when they're 5 and 6, have that confidence. It gets knocked out of them as they get older. Yeah. So if you can keep that going,
young teenagers are the hardest to.
Because they're so self-conscious.
So I had an awful job last year of getting someone to play a young teenager. Only the Sive Feeney came on board, and she was absolutely excellent.
Sive would have been involved in plays in the school, from 5 or 6 years of age, So.
And now, of course, the youth theatre is
very good as well,
great as well, yeah.
So the County Limerick Youth Theatre has its home in the Honeyfitz Theatre for the last, 10, 15 years, I suppose, at this stage. So again, that's, getting a wide audience of people coming there, and some of those people are coming through and onto the Lough Gur Drama Group as well. So we mustn't forget, them as well and all the work that they do. So thanks for that reminder, John.
And of course, your father saw the potential in the potential in everybody, and the potential of what getting up on stage could do for a child. And that's, it isn't everyone that has that insight.
Well, and I suppose he loved the stage, though. I mean, Judge Dad was he was a showman anyway. He was a showman. He loved being the centre of attention. So, I suppose he was able to recognise what it could do for you. And, in ways I kind of think that he was probably ahead of his time a little bit, because he was a bit of a psychologist, if you like, that, that you wouldn't even know, because, he knew that kids need that, support, that lift, that self-esteem and appreciation for self, and you don't get that, because too often we're all told to, sit back in your box. So many times. So it's good to.
We would all be seeing that, be heard.
That's it. And then you went up on stage and you had to be seen, John, and heard.
But
And you're still seen and you're still heard.
Well, as I always say, don't be shy like me. But just to finish up, talking about your father, and of course when he was the director and all, and maybe it's just once maybe or twice maybe, but I have always the memory of him with his yellow dicky ball.
I know, yes.
Fantastic. And that was, as I say, he was a real showman, but every time he would introduce the plays, he would wear the black tie, he'd wear his tuxedo and his dicky bow, 100%. Like it was a performance, and people were going to get value for their money.
And they felt as if they were in a real theatre, not just a hall.
Until the raffle.
Until the raffle.
I think that has earned more money over the years for us.
Probably, absolutely. No, it's a very, and again, to be fair, you know, the money that's earned through the drama has gone back into the upkeep of the Honey Fits, and that's keeping the community going as well. Like, you know, because we go there and for, you know,
Even
Christmas night, all that.
Spent in it this year, curtains and
Yeah.
the floors and
Floors to do on the seat,
solar
everything like that,
panels.
yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is, for those involved in the drama group, there's a great social side to it. First of all, again, Reardon's after the plays was a great stop off, and everyone spoke out, and I forgot this line and you did this, and what have you. And then, of course, from time to time we go on our little trips. Which
we've been doing them now for a couple of years,
Yeah,
haven't we?
yeah.
Your father used to take us as well, sure, didn't he?
Did he?
He did. Well, no, that was probably the
might have
guides.
left me at home. Oh yeah, that's probably the guides.
guides,
yeah.
yeah,
No, but it is, and you're right, John. You know, again, that cements friendships, that really, you know, holds the community together. It's an amazing. If anybody gets the opportunity to be involved in the play, they should do it. Whether it's front stage, backstage, it doesn't matter. Like you really should do it.
door for anyone to come and be with us.
Absolutely, we're always looking for
Yeah,
people to help.
always,
If they're
yeah.
going to be on the stage, then there's loads of stuff for them. We
and,
need a prompter, don't we?
Oh yeah. No good prompting me.
There are a few people you cannot prompt, John. You know, and you're not the only one, John. I have to say, there's a couple of them that you can't
Morella
prompt.
used to give out to me because we had Pat Casey in a play a couple of years ago, and Pat couldn't think of his lines, and she was trying to prompt him, but I was prompting him before. Were you giving out to me?
I was, of
Oh
course.
yeah.
Confused, poor
And
Pat
just
Casey.
one other thing. Some people, of course, take great praise and they're not even on stage. And there's a certain gentleman not too far from us here, Brian Colopy. And maybe 2 years ago, I think, or maybe last year. It was last year. We had Pete Sadler on stage with us. And when Brian was going out, people were saying, "Congratulations, Brian, you were absolutely brilliant." And what did Brian do? "Oh, yeah, thanks."
Thanks very much.
Actually, no, he might be up on the stage yet.
Yeah.
You will never know. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see.
So again, gals, thank you very much for coming.
Okay, John.
Lovely evening chatting with you. And a special thanks to Daniel Clancy for coming and recording us, and for kicking off this project to record the oral history and folklore of Lough Gur. And I think this will be a great addition to Lough Gur and our community, and it'll be on it'll be archived, and you will be able to pop in and out, and you know, there's some very, very interesting stories and interviews given.